In politics this morning.
Yeah, and Congressman Brian Bilbray is joining us, and seeing all the lifeguards out there brings you back to your early days.
The old days of the lifeguard. Actually, it was lifeguarding and rescuing that got me into politics. But you know, the good news is he's got a gorgeous beard. The bad news, he never gets a tan on his chest.
Well, that's good though. He's covering himself up.
Yeah. Before we get to that, you've got to tell that quick story how that lifeguarding got you into politics.
Actually, I was just lifeguarding. There was 4 girls drowning, and I swam out and grabbed 2 of them and put them on my can. Put one on my back, and there was a girl laying down unconscious farther out. Swam out, got her, started mouth-to-mouth resuscitation in the water, and was swimming them in through the surf while I was resuscitating. Got help from other guards that pulled the kids off my back. And we resuscitated. I didn't think the girl was going to survive. We didn't find out later in the day that she actually was revived and lived. But I didn't know there was a local newspaper camera man on the pier taking pictures and documenting the whole thing, and so it became a big deal. They gave me a big citation, and very shortly after that, both sides of the political spectrum in Imperial Beach came over and said, "Hey, Brian, you ever think about getting involved with politics?"
And here you are.
Wow.
So many years later. Hey, let's talk about what's going on in Washington, and the buzzword, especially here in San Diego, is sequestration.
That's a pretty big word for Washington, D.C., too. Actually, but it is a sort of a threat that if you don't do the right thing, we're going to have to cut across the board, and it is very frustrating, especially the fact that you have people like the Armed Services Committee, which Duncan Hunter serves on, where the Democrats and Republicans got together, worked out a good plan of how to balance the budget for the military without just blindly doing the cross-the-board cuts. And they got their job done, but the Senate hasn't even looked at it. And we've actually asked the Senate. I had a letter with the group, including Duncan Hunter, that said, "Mr. Reid, will you please get this worked out? Because by ignoring the problem until after the election, it'll cost up to 1 million jobs out there that people are going to have to be laid off, because the law says all these programs have to be shut down, and all this equipment that has been ordered can't be bought."
Such a huge impact here in San Diego.
It is really frustrating on that, and I'll tell you something. I've never seen, and I don't know if anybody's ever seen, a thing where you've got the Senate for 3 years has not approved a budget. That's a constitutional obligation we have. What's frustrating in the House is everybody kind of lumps us all together, and you got half of us trying to get our job done, the other half, there's such disarray in the Senate right now. And it's hopefully it'll get straightened out, but waiting till November to do all these tough decisions, it's good fiscally, and frankly from the political representative point of view, the public should know where the votes are and who's voting which way before the election, not after the election. It's a bad pattern. It's a pattern I don't think anybody should be very proud of.
Well, and it just seems like we're kicking the can down the road. Nothing is really getting accomplished. It
hasn't. We've been able to get some things accomplished, and let's face it, when it came to the FDA reform, actually created an environment where these medical breakthroughs, we finally got both sides working on. That was my committee, Energy and Commerce, and we worked that out, got the Senate to look at it. Maybe it's because they're older, maybe they're more concerned about, you know, having these health breakthroughs they may need sometime. But the fact is they finally acted on that, and that was a major piece of legislation. You didn't hear about it in the media. You didn't see the talking heads do editorials on this, but that was done. Sadly, the sequestering issue is one that needs to be addressed sooner instead of later, but at least Washington is being forced somewhere within the near future of addressing the budget crisis, and that is probably the best part of it.
All right, Congressman Bilbray, when do you head back?
I'm staying around in San Diego and actually trying to spend some time catching up with family, but mostly catching up with my constituents and enjoying at least a few weeks in San Diego during the summer. You cannot believe how tough it is being a local guy that grew up a block from the beach to be in Washington during the summer rather than being in San Diego.
Well, enjoy the beach then. We know you'll get out and do some surfing.
Well, it's one way to meet your constituents right now.
You got it.
Just watch out for all of McCain's constituents. All those zonies are out here too.
Well, you might see the guy with the beard if you get out in the water too.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Congressman.
Thank you very much.
Coming up.